So you're looking to make a build on Project Ascension, but you don't know what enchant to pick. Well, I can definitely tell you what 10 enchants are completely useless in my biased opinions. Number 10, all green enchants. Whoops, all green. It's not even about green enchants being bad, they're just not as good as their blue counterparts. Are you really going to use a green enchant that reduces the casting time of your regrowth by 1%? Or are you going to use a blue enchant which instead increases the healing done by regrowth and like 20 other abilities by 1%? If you have a build that only uses one button, I could see stacking a bunch of greens for that specific ability being pretty okay. Though if you really want to just press one button, I heard Warrior got some pretty good buffs in Dragonflight. Number 9, Throw Weapon. This enchant learns you Throw Weapon, which is a damaging ability with a 20-yard range. This ability stuns your target for 1 second, but disarms you for 4. If the stun to disarm ratio was better, I could see this being situationally useful in PvP, but in PvE you're just losing DPS. This is the equivalent of throwing your loaded gun at an enemy because you thought it would confuse them. Number 8, I have the high ground. Though game-changing in other series, pretty mediocre in Ascension. This ability allows you to deal 3% additional damage to targets while you have the high ground. This means that you have to be 5 yards above your target to get any benefit from this enchant. Unless you play with some type of ruler glued to your screen, I don't know how you're doing these mental calculations to benefit from this. The only time I've seen this be useful is if you're being graveyard camped in Warsong Gulch. And if you're being graveyard camped, you probably need to do something with your build anyway. Number 7, Duck Hunting. Duck hunting is actually pretty good if you're camping a graveyard in Warsong Gulch, because you get an additional 3% damage when the target is higher than you. This range is also 5 yards, and as a bonus, this will even remove slow fall on the target. Though this is a direct counter from the last enchant, you don't really get screwed over by line of sight as much when you are targeting someone from above. And additionally, in PvE, I don't know how you're gonna trigger this unless you're kind of glitching under the floor. Number 6, Combat Medic. This enchant allows your bandages healing ticks to increase the healing the target receives from subsequent ticks by 10%. For a fully channeled 8-second bandage, this increases the total healing done by 35%. My main complaint about this is you can only have 3 epics. And out of all the epics that could increase your damage, survivability, or healing in kind of super cool and unique ways, you're going to spend one of these epics to improve your first aid skills? Just admit you want to play Surgeon Simulator and move on. Number 5, Bear Attack. Seems to do nothing, but best keep on your toes though, because that's the thing about bear attacks. They come when you least expect it. This enchant is actually cool, and it's fun, but I fucking hate it because you can't use it with pets. I don't know why. You can't get another fucking bear that's a pet, and it really ruined my 4 bears, 1 elf fantasy, and for that reason alone, I put it at number 5. Number 4, Ace Up Your Sleeve. That last enchant was cool and fun, but this one is neither one of those. When your gouge gets dodged or parried, it only triggers half of its cooldown. Firstly, if I'm playing a rogue build that depends on hitting gouge, why wouldn't I just make sure the first gouge hit? Just don't miss it. It's not that hard. For an enchant like this, where the only thing it's doing is reducing the cooldown, it could be so much better. You have to compete with enchants like Deadly Combo, which is just absurd compared to a simple cooldown reduction. Number 3, Wanding. You know that ability that's in the game that you remember every 1 to 2 months because it's on your bar. So you accidentally click it because you thought it was one of your item presets, but really you just aggro the mob you were targeting, so now your day is just a little worse. Let's make an enchant about it. Wanding lets your wand attacks build up stacks that increase the cast speed of your next spell by 5%. This effect stacks up to 5 times. I don't care who you are. If I see you using your wand during a pull in Karazhan, you're getting G-kicked, and that's it. End of discussion. The increased cast speed would be nice if you weren't already spending 5 seconds to use the wand in the first place. Number 2, social distancing. With the disease hitting the world of Azeroth, some type of enchant needed to be implemented to combat the rising plague. Is the justification I would use if I was ever trying to use this enchant. Social distancing gives you a 20% disease resistance while no other player is within 6 yards of you. The fact that this is a legendary enchant alone is sickening. As a reminder, you can only get one legendary enchant, so why would you get this? This enchant makes me so ill I almost got COVID by making this video, but thankfully my vaccine prevented it. What's that beeping? Oh no, that's just my arm. Whenever I talk about the vaccine, it starts doing that and like a red light comes on. It's nothing. It's probably nothing though. Additionally, I don't know what would count as a disease in PvP since Death Knights aren't around yet. I can't even imagine a use case for this, but at least it's referencing a deadly disease, so I guess that's something. Number 1, Transference of Guilt. This is single-handedly the most uninteresting, boring, dull, humdrum, lifeless. This enchant allows Righteous Defense to transfer 10% more of your ally's threat to you. It improves an already boring ability to make it somehow equally boring. If you ever have a problem with threat in Ascension, it will not be fixed by this enchant. Something is fundamentally wrong with your build or the build of those around you. Some of these enchants you can defend, but what could you possibly say about this one? Oh, Nerdaburt, actually that 10% would make a big difference against a Gruul boss fight because my main tank's aggro is just so big dick and my build is so bad that I can't pull the boss off him with my DPS alone, and I would just taunt the boss, but I didn't get it because I don't need taunt since I'm a mage tank. Like, just stop outing yourself and acknowledge you're bad at the game. That's all I ask. Thank you for watching. If you happen to make or find a good build using one of these enchants, feel free to let me know in the comments. But if you link me a bad build, I will be making fun of you in your in-game mailbox. Have a good one.